Our policy is an open policy, the policy of proletarian principles. From the speech at the meeting with the electors of the Tirana number 209 precinct, the 3rd of October, 1974, comrades. The foreign policy of the People's Republic of Albania is the policy of a socialist country where the dictatorship of the proletariat is in power, which is led by the part of Labauer and is inspired by and stands loyal to the doctrine of Marx, Engels, Lenin and Stalin. The People's Republic of Albania has its own opinions and implements its constructive policy openly, in the light of the sun. There is no problem about which it is unconcerned, and it does not allow anyone to shut its mouth. Any state, any nation, has the right to express its opinions freely, to oppose those of others when it does not agree with them, just as others have the right to oppose your views when they do not agree with them. It is utterly wrong to sit with folded arms and closed mouth when others are acting to the detriment of peoples and states, or to accept, as some might desire, that since you are a small L state or people, it is sheer arrogance to try to have your say, to defend your rights or those of your friends. Ours is an open policy 867 or to come out with your opinions before the mighty. False modesty and the slavish opportunist spirit are alien to the policy of the Albanian state and the dictatorship of the proletariat. THETWO superpowers, the United States of America and the Soviet Union, are imperialist aggressor powers. The are dividing the world into spheres of influence and proceeding to the division and capture of world markets. Their ultimate aim is to dominate the world, the peoples and the states. Hence, the irreconcilable contradictions between the which led to another major world war. Their hegemonism, their reckless arms race, are not taken place smoothly and quietly, but through great upheavals which keep the world simmering. The two superpowers are in the grip of a great economic, cultural and spiritual crisis. Their regimes and ideologies are riddled with corruption. No one trusts them any longer, but by means of force and demagogy they impose themselves on the other capitalists. WHO have become so completely caught up in the webs the two imperialist superpowers have spun that without a general uprising of the people they will hardly be able to free themselves of these bonds. Naturally, the TWO imperialist superpowers and those WHO have been caught in their webs to load the terrible consequences of the crises onto the working people of their countries. This gives rise to the conflicts between states and between rulers and peoples. But the people must not expect others to rescue them from their sufferings. The must save themselves, because, when it comes to defending themselves against the people's revolution, the capitalist revisionist leaders always unite with one another. When they see the game is up, the capitalists throw off disguise and establish the fascist dictatorship. Some states are doing this now. Some others did it long. 868 Enver Hoxha go. There are all sorts of slogans and demagogy, but people must be judged by their deeds and not by appearances. The two superpowers have armed themselves to the teeth. Marking propaganda for others to disarm. Besides, they have become the biggest dealers in arms. This might seem contradictory, but it isn't. In fact, they sell arms to others, but the modern weapons they keep for themselves, always preserving due proportions to maintain their superiority, and they supply weapons only to those on whom they feel their grip is sure. The exploit arms sales, on the one hand, to suck their blood and plunder their wealth, posing as friends so as to war their way into their homes where they tacky over, and on the other hand, to incite them to fight their neighbors. The United States of America and the Soviet Union stir up strife everywhere, revive ancient feuds, and try to weaken any resistance they might meet. Meanwhile, in their own interests, they stir up conflicts, accompanying these with allegations in defense of one or the other, beating their breasts and swearing great oaths. Demanding the convening of the Security Council with the greatest of fervor until, at last, the bubble bursts. Peace was allegedly restored in Vietnam, but the war is still going on there. The Vietnam question was allegedly solved, but the war began in the Middle East. Peace was allegedly made there, too, but the war continues in manly ways. The Arab-Israeli war was supposed to be over, but the Cyprus problem flared up. The process we mentioned above is still going on. WHO is hatching up all these conflicts. The two imperialist superpowers, Soviet and American. Which are gambling G which the fate of the peoples of the world. The Soviet Union and the United States of America. Ours is an open policy. 869 go into outer space and D. In themselves they real are colossal inventions. But one cannot help asking, in whose hands are they? WHO enjoys the M and for what purpose are they used? Are they employed D for the good of mankind? Or as means for the superpowers to spy on the peoples of ND states? Can it be said that the danger of aggressive war has diminished? No T in the least. Are the hunger and poverty in the world D being wiped D out? On the contrary, the Y are becoming worse. Has the life of the poor been improved D or the power of the rich H been liquidated? The opposite is occurring. Thus, to glorify the successes of mankind means to make yourself a mouthpiece of capitalist and revisionist superpowers. On what does the security of the peoples of Europe and the world depend? Does it depend on the publicity or mysterious journeys of a certain Kissinger, a certain Gromyko, or the scheming of a Brezhnev? WHO has made the Soviet and other peoples bleed, or the travel of a Nixon. WHO drowns the world in blood and leads the American mafia in the most disgraceful Watergate scandal, which shook the whole of America. Shall it be left to such people as these to ensure the future of the world? A fine future it will be. Of course, those WHO believe in tragedy illusionists are free to go to meetings in Vienna, Helsinki, or anywhere they like. Let them palaver with one another. Booty for our part, we, too, are free not to go to those meetings, and we are not going. At these meetings and conferences it is not only we, but also the peoples. WHO are absent. This is significant for us. Booty someone will ask, what do the Albanians suggest? How should we act? The Albanians state their views every day. The Y are clear to WHO 870 Enver Hoxha want to hear. The Albanians say, and why this H mixed D with H poison should not be eaten because it will kill you. It should be rejected and thrown out. 3 are those WHO say. Booty what can we do about the Americans and the Soviets? The Y are powerful. Should we shut the door to them? The Albanians say, no T only should we shut the M out, but we must T isolate them and put the M in a straitjacket. This is a wish, they say, but the reality is another matter. Booty we Albanians declare that we must turn this wish into reality. If you submit to the Soviet America and dictate, then you cannot escape their yoke. We Albanians accept neither their dictate nor their yoke. We are determined to fight on to victory. There are some who, when they hear us, smirk and sneer. How swell-headed these Albanians are. The Y want to put the world to rights. Booty WHO are these WHO speak like this. The Y are the very ones WHO want to dominate the world and its peoples. WHO do not lick it when the peoples raise their voice against them. The ones WHO are used to looking down on the peoples and ordering the M around with bullets and whips. And they WHO pose as the most unpretentious persons on earth. We say to them that we are not swell-headed, but we are the soldiers of that great and powerful army which is marking the revolution of which they are so afraid and which will be the end of them. This revolution is not a movement of yes men and slaves, of bowing and scraping, but is the powerful blow, the continuation of the Great October Revolution, the People's Liberation Wars. This they call pretension and arrogance. The Y don't lick it because it cuts the ground from under them, and destroys the structure they have erected on human corpses, eroded by its internal contradictions and gripped in grave all-round crises under the relentless blows of the forces of the revolution. National liberation, Democrat Y and ours is an open policy. 871 Social progress. The capitalist revisionist world is staggering towards ever greater degeneration and decomposition. And onto the working class and the masses, will keeping its profits intact. This line is bound to bring about the revolt of the proletariat and all those oppressed and exploited by capital. The working masses, their most conscious forces, will assuredly rise to their feet to defend their vital interests and turn this situation of crisis into one favorable to the advance of the cause of the revolution. The revolution and the struggle for political and economic independence constitute an unceasing historical process. The present conditions of the social development of the world drive the M forward with ever greater force and make the M indispensable, and this constitutes a reliable guarantee for their triumph. With its foreign policy, the People's Republic of Albania defends the interests of our country on the international arena, defends and struggles, together with the socialist and progressive democracy countries, for freedom, progress and genuine democracy all over the world, for the freedom of those WHO walk with H handy and brain. The People's Republic of Albania fight S America and imperialism, Soviet social imperialism, all other imperialists and reactionaries in the world. WHO cause the misfortunes of mankind. WHO cause war S of oppression and plunder, quarrel S and dissensions, subversion and plots all over the world. WHO cause hunger and poverty on a world scale. Socialist Albania make S its modest contribution to the struggle and to these great efforts of mankind. A modest help, but given openly, without hesitation and fearing nobody. And these nobodies why be great and powerful, but the strength of the Polik of our peer. 872 Enver Hoxha Pies Republic consists in the fact that it defends its just cause, a sacred cause dear to all peoples. You must know how to seek and defend this cause, to maki it your own and defend it with HLLUR might. Booty to defend it with HLLUR might means, first of all, to be prepared to accept any sacrifice. The People's Republic of Albania has chosen this course thanks to its glorious leadership, the part of labor, and no storm has ever made it, or will ever maki it wave from its course. The Polik of the part of Labauer and the People's Republic of Albania is open and above board. It states the trut H before the world, regardless of whether someone or other why not licky it. Our Polik complies with H the interests of peoples and not of cliques and ideologies that oppress the peoples. It seeks the friendship of these peoples and not that of their oppressors. It is not a pragmatic policy, but a principled proletarian policy. It does not stem from secret diplomat behind the scenes, from mysterious talks, from putting its own interests and those of other countries up for auction. The Polik of our counter is not the Polik of a state with 100 flags up its sleeve. Our People's Republic does not lower its colors either to blackmail and intimidation or to the ruble and the dollar. Is correct. Principled and courageous Polik which should be followed, or that of going down on your knees, of crawling to the American and the Soviets, of becoming a prostitute state. The former course should be followed while the other should be mercilessly exposed and combated. Suck HIS the Polik of OUR part and government, and that ISWHY we have hundreds and hundreds of millions of people with us, and Albania, for its part, IS an unit Y of thought and action, with those hundreds and hundreds of millions. We, the people of the People's Republic of Albania. Ours is an open policy 873 a small L counter Y in the Balkan which has suffered greatly through the centuries at the hands of barbarous imperialist invader and which woe and its freedom and everything it enjoys today through armed struggle. Issue a warning to all the Como people of the world. Taki care. US imperialism and Russian imperialism are leading the world into another world war, more terrible than any other. These two are to blame for the present great crises. They are vying with each other for world hegemony, are fighting to capture markets, which means to occupy countries and enslave peoples. It is precisely the two superpowers that are the anti-popular cliques and government to use the as gendarmes and provider of cannon fodder for the inevitable slaughter they are preparing if we let them have their way. See what is happening in the world. The peoples of the Soviet Union are being oppressed and pumped full of aggressive nationalism. The peoples of the pseudo-socialist countries of Europe are being oppressed and their rule and cliques subordinate the interests of their peoples to those of the Soviet Union and the Warsaw Treaty. The Kremlin oppresses them and threatens. Either you act the way I want and as I order, or I shall invade and crush you as I did with Czechoslovakia. This is how Hitler acted. He started with Austria first, then with Czechoslovakia, and continued with the others. Soviet social imperialism started this, too, and will end up the same way, just as Hassa began and finished up. So Husak, Bekjirek, Zhivkov Filovi and company have begun, and they will end up the same way, too. US imperialism is grinding the peoples under its bloody iron heel. It has the pressure on its allies, striving at all costs to keep them under the constant menace of the economy crisis, the atomy bomb, the Soviet danger, of intrigues and subversion. It is trying to preserve the 874 Enver Hoxha, Atlantic alliance, to stir up rivalries to its own advantage within it, and to create a climate of insecurity in the countries and governments of its so-called allies. The United States attacks Vietnam and Cambodia, and the Americans and the Soviets, the TWO in solidarity, interfere in Pakistan and Afghanistan, provoke wars in the Middle East and hatch up the tragedies of Chile and Cyprus. The holy world wait sin anguish. Worry will they strike next? No the world is buzzing with rumors spread by agents provocateurs, venal journalists, the diplomats of the drawing rooms and clubs, WHORLL sowers of confusion, blackmail and fear in the service of the TWO superpowers. Tomorrow, they say, it will be Yugoslavia's turn. What will happen after Tito? Yugoslavia will be annexed either to the Soviet or to the American sphere of influence. Romania will be gobbled up by the Soviets. Albania will not go unscathed. Which side will L Greece take no W it has withdrawn from NATO etc. etc. LL these rumors express the wishes and plans of the two superpowers. The Y are not only demoralize in G psychological preparation, but also an effective military Y preparation to weaken the resistance of the peoples and then drown the M in a bloodbath. The psychosis of fear and DYRIS fostered by the TWO superpowers. The Y use it to advertise the TWO umbrellas, the one American, the other Soviet, as the ONLY hope of salvation. According G to them, if you want T to save yourself you must T take you pick K between them don't think K for yourself anymore you are freedom and D fate are bound up with H these two monsters. Over LLTS psychosis of blackmail, intimidation and terror reigns a dense parallel of meetings, contacts, talks, bilateral and multilateral commissions. Everything G is discussed but nothing is solved. Ours is an open policy 875 even when some decision is taken, nothing is certain. Even that minimal bourgeois morality of the diplomacy C acts of days gone by has turned D into hideous filth H and D corruption today, degeneration, falsehood, and D deceit prevail in the policies of the TWO superpowers and their allies. Shall D the people sit idly by, awaiting the catastrophe these criminal cliques are preparing for our mankind? Certainly why not? The NYT should be done, we say it is necessary to fight. Booty in YT way. Throughout H messages and D telegrams of congratulations and D good wishes to those WHO are trying G to dig you our grave, by saying nothing public why but singing praises to the Soviet revisionist SWHO wan T to burr you or to gobble you up, by tossing bouquets at the US imperialist T butchers, and D by seeking and accepting enslaving loans from the two superpowers, and D then pretending you are fighting them. No on E will L swallow such demagogy and D lies. If you are to car Y are to polic Y that is correct and realistic towards you are OWN counter Y and D towards other countries. You must T free yourself from the complexes which H the two superpowers and D their agents continue to create. These powers of darkness S accuse us Albanian S of shutting ourselves off. Booty from whom have we shut ourselves off and D YTDO they me NBY shut off, and D next. YT while D they have us do. The Y advise us not to shut ourselves off from the imperialist S and D the revisionists, to accept their loans and mac those WHO have always oppressed us and sucked our blood business partner S in our country. The Y advise us to turn our counter Y into an in, with H the doors widdy open to pigs and D so's in pant SOR with H no pant S at all, with H hair down to their shoulders, and to hippies to bring G in their craz Y dances to supplant the beautiful dances of our people. The YTRY to corrupt our people, to poke their spies noses 876 Enver Hoxha into OUR affairs, to organize putches and D plots, to occupy the strategic point S in the country, to establish military Y bases, to make our counter wire colony belonging to foreigners and turn our free people into slaves. If you do not do all this, they say, then you have shut yourself off from this wonderful world, from this marvelous civilization. If you make such concessions to these monsters, the Y will even allow you to insult them, to call yourself a communist and even pose as a Marxist-Leninist, or a follower of Mao Zedong. Booty that's all a bluff, because they have you by the throat and you cannot move. You are their slave, their agent, and D have sold out our people and our country. The Y want us to become slaves of TS sort, otherwise we shall not be considered civilized or fashionable. TS YYOF life. This YYOF thinking G we reject with H contempt, and they need cherish no hopes that TS attitude will L change. O our glorious people and D the heroic part Y of Lab hour of Albania, the TWO in absolute unit Y of thought and action, are the reliable guarantee of that. Rogues, enemies, agents in the power Y of foreigners have come up no W and D then with H the IM of impeding G the construction of socialism and sabotaging the splendid, stealing defense of our country, but they have LL been wiped D out and liquidated as soon as they have dared D to raise their heads. The E-class struggle that is being waged D with H such success, determination and vigilance by our part Y and D people mercilessly discloses and destroys these specks of rot in our society. When the IRO and Brew M sweeps our rank S clean of them, the external and internal enemies prick K up there. Booty YT do the part Y and D the people say we must T crack down on them, because TS will L Mac ours is an open policy 877 us 100,000 times stronger. The rumor S spread by the NMYRE Merrill Y their whale S of defeat. OUR people and our part Y are neither surprised, confused, nor alarmed by such rumors, because they are used to them. Not ONLYDO our people and government no WWHO these people are WHO spread vino M when the enemy has been dealt crushing blows. but they also know how to administer the appropriate remedy to such individuals. NDTS makes our position even stronger, because the diabolical plots of the enemy, both external and internal, are foiled, and those involved in the M are caught red-handed. Herein lies the strength of the dictatorship of the proletariat, the strength of our socialist country, the strength of the Marxist-Leninist ideas of our party. The revisionist Kremlin and its stooges are screaming, we want contacts, we want diplomacy relations, we want friendship with the Albanian people, with that people we love so dearly. These wolves in sheep's clothing swear by their most sacred things that they want to embrace us, or better to strangle us. The why want to kiss us 3 times, according to the custom of the Russian church, to dispatch us to heaven. Booty we say to these enemies of socialism and Leninism, these sworn enemies of our people and the part YOF lab our OF Albania, that we will never be reconciled with them, will never be friends with them, but everlasting enemies. And they should not imagine that these are just the opinions of a few Albanian leaders who are alive today but will be dead tomorrow. No. The Albanian people and the part Y of lab hour of Albania will never die. We are their soldiers, we are millions, and we are of one mind, one unwavering stand. Neither you are guns, your missiles, you are aircraft, no you are atomic sea bombs can shift us, today or ever. Oh you are part Y and people are not deceived by the demagogy of Radio Moscow which weeps nostalgic crocodile 878 Enver Hoxha tears ever why night over the erstwhile Albanian Soviet friendship. Oh our friendship was in the Timmy of the great Stalin. We have not hidden and neither will hide this friendship, but it was violated precisely by those who betrayed the cause of Marxism-Leninism, of Bolshevism. Who betrayed the ideas of Lenin and Stalin, proletarian internationalism, and the friendship with the Albanian people. The part Y of lab hour of Albania and the Albanian people will never be at peace with them, but at war. We are prepared to win this war, and if not today, tomorrow we shall certainly triumph over them. 3 is something else they should realize, too. And in saying this I speak in the name of the Albanian people and the part Y of lab hour of Albania. We are not afraid, either of the M or of their weapons. We say to the Kremlin traitors and their running dogs that we know how to distinguish between the Soviet people and the revisionist chiefs, but we do not and will not differentiate between those chiefs and those who follow them. We lump traitors together. The Y will not be able to deal with socialist Albania and the part Y of lab hour of Albania, the WY they dealt with Prague and the part Y of Dubček, with the megalomania and despotism of a great fascist state. The rulers in the Kremlin knit in their histriony see bushy eyebrows. Ma why ask, where do these Lilliputians find the strength to stand up to the Soviet Union? Do you want the answer? Pick KUP Marx, Engels and Lenin, because you have condemned Stalin. Read the M the right WY up for a minute because you read the M upside down, and there you will find the precise answer as to where the source of our strength lies. Do you agree, dear electors, with the answer we give these treacherous enemies? The whole echoes with a powerful yes, applause and ovations. Now, 2. The Soviet revisionist S&D Brezhnev VR. Ours is an open policy 879 pursuing the same ends, adopting the same tactics, and maintaining the same propaganda position as in the time of Khrushchev. Following the course of the Khrushchevite betrayal, the revisionist communist part Y of the Soviet Union is no W organizing a meeting of the revisionist parties of Europe with the IM of imposing its views on them, keeping them under control, and showing that allegedly it is not isolated, but is the center of world communism. 3 other parties which take part in this meeting will prove that they are on the road of betrayal, and will make themselves accomplices of the evil. Counter-revolution are Y activate Y of the Soviet revisionist leaders. 3 part Y of lab hour of Albania sternal Y condemns such a meeting of conspirators, but on the other hand, it is a good thing that the peoples and the communists of the world will have the opportunity once again to see the true face of those parties which are meeting to plot. Kremlin chiefs and their running dogs pretend that they are the embodiment of Marxism-Leninism, and their countries, of socialism. Hovar is with them they sanctify as such. Hovar is against the M is stigmatized, not only as not a Marxist-Leninist, but as linked with, sold out to, and in the service of US imperialism. In other words, they say, either with us or with them. Booty to be against both US imperialism and Soviet social imperialism is something they cannot accept. Khrushchev accused us of having sold out to imperialism. Booty WHO sold out, we or he. Since we have not submitted to him. Brezhnev accuses us of playing the Americans' game at a time when he himself and his followers are close friends and collaborators of the Americans. WHO are kissing the American s and getting into bed with them every day. Will ye accusing us WHO are at daggers drawn with the Americans. No, but why believes the lies of these traitors? Because honest people with brains 880 Enver Hoxha in their heads are able to understand the policy and stands of our People's Republic C and D the part Y of Lab Hour of Albania. To see TS policy in its development and application. We rely on these people and D we thank them for their fair judgment of our policy. And D people licky this. Communist S and D non-communists. People of varying political opinions, including some WHO why not agree with HOUR course, are the overwhelming majority. But there are also some WHO believe the calumnies of the imperialist renegades of the Kremlin. What can we do? Such people exist. Hitler had such people, too, both inside and outside Germany. Throughout demagogy and terror he even lined up the German people. TSIS what is happening in the Soviet Union today. But can it be said that Albania is an isolated country? Is our enemies trumpet? No at all. The holy world no socialist Albania. Countless people, friends from MLL countries, come to visit it. We have diplomatic, trade, and cultural relations with 65 countries. 1. The frank and loyal policy of the People's Republic C of Albania towards its friends and well-wishers is respected, just as the art and culture of our people are respected, just as the all-round progress of our counter YIS feral Y and positive Y assessed. Can it be that we are isolated because we do not have diplomacy C link S with the United States of America? It is true that in the US Senate, neither Truman, Nixon, nor Ford have spoken in favor of diplomacy C relations with Albania, nor about the ardent love they allegedly have for Albania, as the hypocrites of Moscow are doing. Booty from time to time the State Department sends up a test balloon and waits for the response. Every day we are giving America an imperialism our answer. Following the Second World War, in which we fought 1 footnote on page 137 of this volume. Ours is an open policy 881. Together against Hitler, Albania expressed its desire to establish diplomacy C relations with the United States of America. Booty it did not deign to establish relations with a government born in the mountains. It won't a government of drawing rooms and Coca-Cola established in Albania. However, the Albanian people were not greatly bothered about it. The Y enjoyed their place in the sun and prospered, whether or not it pleased the United States of America. At that time they did not want to establish diplomacy relations with us. Now we do not want to establish such relations with them. A lot of people might say that it doesn't matter to the United States that we don't want to establish diplomacy relations with it. TSIS true. Booty it is equal why true that it doesn't matter to us, either. The British government, too, which maintains the same stand towards us as the American government, from time to time sends up a test balloon for diplomacy relations, but we say to them, before you send up such balloons release the gold that you have robbed from the Albanian people and send it back, together with the accumulated interest. TSIS what we have to say to the Bonen government, too, which is carrying out a revanchist polik y and which owes Albania billions of marks in our reparations. Are they, perhaps, expecting us to bow low to these governments which have committed so many evils, so many injustices, against us? Never. The Y are just as mistaken as all those WHO accuse us of being pig-headed. We have sympathy for the working people of America, Great Britain and Germany, but not for those WHO trample underfoot the people's rights, freedom and sovereignty. We fight those governments and those persons WHO have enslaving aims. We have man-y friends and well-wishers in France, Belgium, the Nordic Sea and Scandinavian countries, and in man-y other countries around the 882 Enver Hoxha world. We respect them and they respect us, despite the differences in our regimes and ideologies. We respect those peoples and those governments. WHO do not bow to the dictates and desires of the TWO superpowers. WHO carry out an independent and sovereign policy. The well-wishers of the People's Republic C of Albania respect our policy regardless of the fact that they why not agree with us on all matters, but they understand that, just as they have the right to conduct their own policy, we, too, have the right to conduct ours. In the past, distinguished persons have emerged from the bosom of these peoples. WHO have written and spoken with sympathy about the Albanian people. Now, too, in this NW period, workers, well-known professors, doctors, philosophers, diplomats and journalists are speaking and written with sympathy about our small and courageous nation that has never harmed anybody. We are friends with the neighboring Yugoslavian Greek peoples. The imperialist power S&D their agencies have laid their fuses and detonator S among us to set us squabbling with one another. Booty to us, the Borko N peoples. These things have become lessons and, in the face of the common danger, even though we why not agree with one another in man why respects, we have found and must find a common language. The facts of history cannot be wiped out. When one has been attacked, the other has been attacked, too, by the same enemy. The same enemy has incited one or the other to weaken the third. The enemies of our people and the cliques sold out to the held the fuse of the powder barrel. The Albanian, Yugoslav and Greek peoples have never submitted to the foreign invaders. These peoples have no slavish spirit, and they have demonstrated this over and over again throughout the centuries of their history. The Albanians, the Yugoslav S&D the Greek S are not the Kindi. Ours is an open policy 883 of people who keep a pistol in their belt just for show. When the Americans, the Soviet S or anyone else try to attack the and rob the of their freedom and sovereignty. Therefore, however much the TWO superpower S or their captive aircraft carrier states why they dream, neither the Yugoslav, Greek, nor Albanian people will ever allow themselves to be trodden underfoot by the Soviets, the Americans, or the Italian and German fascists. If the embark on such adventures, our countries will become their grave. We have said and we say again to the Yugoslav and Greek peoples that Albania's borders with them will always be quiet. The enemy will first have to do battle with us Albanians, will be broken here and will find it hard to reach their borders. We trust that the same will occur from their side towards us. We want to live free in our countries. The enemies should not think that they will be able to deal with us easily. We Albanians wish the peoples of Yugoslavia and Greece well. We must promote our friendship in the WOY must suitable to each without interfering in one another's internal affairs. And we must not permit anything with the NOUR territories which, for one reason or another, MOY violate or threaten the interests of good neighborliness. We welcome the efforts of the Greek government to withdraw from NATO. The Greek people did not permit themselves to be trampled underfoot, and anyone WHO thinks that Washington's departmental secretaries and Moscow's foreign ministers can strike bargains and plot at the expense of the Greek people is sadly mistaken. The world remember very well how Greece shed its blood in the fight for freedom will others looked on and turned their thumbs. We say to our neighbors that in our counter there are and there will be no foreign military bases, but we wish 884 Enver Hoxha that they, too, will get rid of the foreign military bases in their countries. 3 is no valid pretext for the fleets of the two superpowers to be permitted even the right to anchor, to be repaired, or supplied, let alone to have permanent bases in these countries. This is very dangerous, both to the counter that makes these concessions and to its neighbors. We cannot agree to anyone marking such concessions. We have declared our stand towards the presence of aggressive US and Soviet fleets in the Mediterranean and we remain loyal to and consistent with this policy. We wish the Bulgarian people well. We have been and are friends, but this friendship is being clouded through no fault of ours. The Bulgarian people should open their eyes, because their rulers are turning Bulgaria into a real colony of the Soviet social imperialists. The Moscow chiefs and their Bulgarian agency, headed by Todor Zhivkov, have turned Bulgaria into a military base against our countries. The Soviets want to use the Bulgarian people as cannon fodder against our peoples. Todor Zhivkov and his clique in the hands of the Soviets have become dangerous provocateurs against Yugoslavia, Albania, Greece, Turkey, and so on. The dreams of the old Tsars have become identified with the desires of the new Russian Bulgarian Tsars and Todor Zhivkov. WHO has ambitions to a greater Bulgaria, and does not coin the slogan through the centuries with Russia for nothing. We say to the Bulgarian people that friendship is friendship, and we remain loyal to the friendship with the Bulgarian people of the great Dimitrov. But this friendship has its rules. If the Bulgarian people harbor our bandits in their country, and permit them to attack us from there, then our sincere and deeper friendship no longer exists. We want good, friendly relations with Italy. Booty we observe that now the fascists are raising their heads. Ours is an open policy 885 there, launching a widespread campaign of crimes and threats, seeking to revive the old Mussolini spirit of adventurism. Acts of fascist terror have been carried out in Romi against the embassy of the People's Republic of Albania, which is inviolable. Those actions which hinder the normal development of good neighborly relations between our two countries must be condemned and stopped. A close fraternal friendship binds our people with the heroic people of Vietnam. Our counter has always resolutely supported the just war of the Vietnamese people for the liberation of South Vietnam, the defense of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam and the reunification of the homeland. 3 Party, the government, and the entire Albanian people forceful why condemn the aggressive policy followed by the United States of America towards Vietnam were is continuing its military involvement, urging the Saigon administration to violate the Paris agreements, and inciting it to grave provocations against the Vietnamese people. We express our unshaken confidence that, through their resolute struggle, the fraternal Vietnamese people will achieve their national aspirations and their just cause will triumph completely. We hail the historic victories which the valiant Cambodian people are achieving under the leadership of the National United Front in their struggle against the American imperialist aggressors and the puppet regime of Lon Nol. We are convinced that the ultimate victor of the Cambodian people over the foreign aggressors and the Phnom Penh traitor SIS inevitable. Freemed relations and close collaboration exist between our counter and the People's Democratic Republic of Korea, and they are being strengthened and developed continuously. We deeply rejoice at the successes the fraternal Korean people are achieving in the construction of socialism. Our people support the just stand of the Part Y and Government 886 Enver Hoxha of the People's Democratic Republic of Korea on the withdrawal of foreign troops from South Korea and the reunification of the country. Currently, the Middle East constitutes one of the problems worrying, not just the peoples of this area, but public opinion throughout the world. As a result of the interference of the superpowers, genuine peace there is far from being established. 3 is no rapid solution in which will confirm to the genuine sovereign interests of the Arab peoples, and which will return to them the land stolen from them and restore to the Palestinians the rights they have been denied. The so-called peace plans fabricated in the chancelleries of Moscow and Washington have the aim of burying the genuine Arab cause. Ever why initiative the United States of America and the Soviet Union take in the Middle East aims at strengthening the position of the imperialists and enhancing their influence there. But any anti-Arab half-peace licky that which the United States and the Soviet Union seek to impose cannot be long-lived. 3 for Arab-Israeli war so far have proven this. We are convinced that the Arab peoples, WHO have ancient traditions and a freedom-loving and progressive spirit will foil the anti-Arab intrigues and plans of Israel and the TWO superpowers, and which their United forces will attain their lofty national objectives. Recently, the flames of war were rekindled in Cyprus. 2. A fresh threat to peace and security in the East Mediterranean and the Balkans was created. 3. Development of events to date shows that the new Cyprus tragedy arose on the background of the Soviet-US rivalry, in the atmosphere of plots and intrigues that the TWO superpowers, individual or jointly, hatch up against the peoples. The US imperialists seek to establish themselves political and military on the island. Will the social imperialists ours is an open policy 887. 1 to fish in troubled waters. The Y are taking advantage of the situation to revive the old Turkish-Greek feuds and to create conditions which will facilitate their expansion or justify their intrusion. 3 problems of Cyprus are numerous and are certainly not easy to resolve, but we are of the opinion that the Cypriot people, Greek and Turk, are able and have the possibilities to decide their own future, free from outside pressure and on the basis of their sovereign interests. Cyprus is an independent and sovereign state, a member of the United Nations and recognized by the majority of the world's states. It should remain so, and nobody has the right to attack it under any pretext at all, to meddle in its internal affairs and to impose solutions which do not conform to the free expressed will of the Cypriot people. These events which are taking place not far away from us impose on us the necessity for still greater revolutionary vigilance, even greater mobilization for a more powerful and all-sided struggle against enemies on the fronts. As hitherto the People's Republic of Albania will continue to stand in the forefront of the struggle against imperialism, revisionism and reaction, and will give its support to those peoples and countries that fight for national freedom and independence, for emancipation and social advancement. In the future, too, we shall follow the same foreign policy that has ensured our counter-sound international positions, powerful friends and numerous well-wishers, and has won it an honored name and high prestige. Reports and Speeches 1974 to 1970.